Hello and welcome to Jurassic Reviews. Today we'll be taking a look at a newer Godzilla figure made by NECA. Their Godzilla 1962 from the film King Kong vs. Godzilla. This past year or so has been a great time to get Godzilla 1962 figures. I went from having only one 62 in my collection, which is a small one from the Bandai History set released in 1999. Last year I picked up X+'s gigantic Godzilla 1962, which is now one of my favorite figures. I actually just got a new display for him. Then a month or two ago I got the D4 Godzilla 1962, and now I got the NECA. And hopefully here soon Amazon will send me the SH Monster Arts version. I actually can't wait to compare the SH Monster Arts and the NECA. Now let's take a closer look at the NECA 62 Godzilla. First, here's the box it came in, which is amazing. I seriously was getting so tired of the previous packaging of NECA's Godzilla figures, which were all in plastic blister cases with the same artwork for each one. They all included the same stock image of Bandai Creations Godzilla 1954. It was not great looking, and I am so glad they are moving away from that design. There was one exception, which was their NES Godzilla, which was made to look like the NES box the game came in. This 62 Godzilla comes in a box similar to that one. It uses poster and other promotional artwork from the King Kong vs. Godzilla movie, and it looks fantastic. The box itself makes for great display. I recommend holding onto it if you can. Here's a quick look at it. Here's the front of the box. Here's the side of the box where you can see the new 65th anniversary logo with Shin Godzilla on it. Very cool. Here's the back of the box. And here's the inside part of the box. Before I move on to the review of the figure, I want to mention it also includes an atomic breath effect piece. It's a nice option to have and looks cool, though I prefer displaying my figures that have this without them. Now let's move on to the figure itself. It stands about 6 inches tall and is 12 inches long. The first thing that sticks out to me on this figure is the upgrade in the paint job compared to previous NECA Godzilla figures. They did a tremendous job on this one. If this is any indication of the things to come from NECA, I'll be buying every release from them. Many of their previous releases had this blue paint applied to them, and they looked a bit more glossy in appearance. This one thankfully does not use the blue paint. It uses a darker gray with lighter gray to add depth. The fine details in the scales and dorsal plates stick out really well. It's impressive. The dorsal plates might actually be my favorite part of this figure. The gray paint applied here looks great. It looks really worn and organic in the way that it transitions to the whiter parts of the plates. Paint on the head is also really well done. Its yellow eyes really stick out, and both of the pupils are painted on correctly. I actually don't think I've had any issues with my NECA figures when it comes to their eyes. This is also true with the teeth on mine. There doesn't appear to be much, if any, pink paint from the mouth mixing in with the teeth. So a great job there. There is actually one area on mine that has an issue with some paint. There's a little yellowish paint on the back of its head. It looks like the same color as the eyes. This is just my figure though. I think most of them out there won't have too many issues, and for me personally this is just a minor thing. Its toenails and fingernails are also painted a lighter gray color, which look fine except I don't think they were this bright in the actual film. I gave the film a rewatch in preparation for this review and I think they are a bit darker overall. I think the X Plus version got it right. Still not a big deal though. In terms of articulation it has plenty. Details online claim it has 30 points of articulation. The head's on a ball joint so it has good movability, same with the neck. Just be careful not to pop the head off. Though actually this one seems to stay on a bit better than the other figures I have like this. The jaws can open, though they require a little bit of effort to move. The torso is also a bit tight on my figure. This seems to be the one weak area. It just sort of swivels a little. This might just be my figure, but I can't get a whole lot of movement out of it. The arms and hands also have a decent amount of movement. And the legs do too. Though, like the torso, the joints around the thighs are really tight on mine. The tail is a big upgrade over the previous NECA figures. Gone is the bendy wire. It instead uses ball joints in a few spots going down its tail. This allows for a much greater range of motion and possible poses for the figure. I believe NECA is going to do this with all their future releases, which I'm glad. Next to the paint, I think it's the biggest upgrade. It might not have quite as many ball joints as the Monster Arts figures, but it gets the job done. Lastly, I just want to briefly discuss the sculpt's accuracy to its movie counterpart. As I mentioned, I watched the film before doing this review, and I have to say it captures this incarnation of Godzilla really well. It's undoubtedly the 62 Godzilla, and from many angles it looks spot on. It especially nails the head-on look, which looks goofy and is one of the reasons this version of Godzilla is often referred to as Frogzilla. There are a few things that are a little off. I already mentioned the finger and toenails were darker in the film, which isn't a big deal. The head might also be a little on the large side, but I really don't have too much of a problem with it. The back might also be a little off. I think the film version was a little more hunched over. My only real gripe is the jaw when opened. When viewing from the front it looks fine, but from side angles it doesn't look the best. Overall though, this figure looks great, especially for costing less than $30. You really can't beat it for the price. For a rating out of 10, I give this one a 9 out of 10. I really think NECA stepped up their game with this one. It has a great paint job, solid articulation, and pretty good film accuracy. Also, if you like boxes, this one has an amazing one. I highly recommend picking this one up, especially if you are a fan of the '62 Godzilla. For less than $30, you can't go wrong. And that does it for NECA's Godzilla 1962. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.